Here we go. Hunc nobiscum eminem. So this most noble river, nature has extolled, raised up before the oculuses, before the eyes of the human race, and it is placed at ita ut, thus so that in this time it will inundate Egypt, when most maximally it will the earth is burning from the heat, so it'd be summer, and it drags up the waves, the waters, which are rather deep, or most deep, tantum quantum correlatives, so that it can use them. It's able to suffice for use when it is at the most driest part of the year, Sikati anyway. Okay, so the land's burning with heat, and the river is very dry this time of year, and so it gets its water from that. For in Iaparte, for in that part, which verges towards Ethiopia, that's the lower part of Egypt, either there is no rain, or it's rare, and which it's unaccustomed terrain. This land is unaccustomed, it's not helped by heavenly waters, or water that comes down as a rainfall. Okay, so it doesn't rain there. 2.2. As you know, Egypt has itself one hope in this, so that it's either a sterile year or fertile est. Just as if there's a influx magnus, a great influx into it, or it's rather sparing. There's a quote here: "No one of the ploughers looks up to the heavens." Why? Or therefore, why shouldn't I joke with my poet friend and fix on him this of Ovid, who says, "Neither do the herbs supplicate or pray to pluvio Jove the rain god." I guess that's because herbs don't have mouths and brains, but some sort of joke, and it's quoted, this bit, maybe a private joke. 2.3. From where it begins to grow, if it's able to be comprehended or grasped, also the cause of its increment may be found, we can find, but now, through great solitudes or wastelands or deserts, it pervagateth. So the Nile wanders around through deserts, and it comes out diffusing into marshes, and I don't know where that comes from. I think it's herbaceous, and it has huge grasses, and I guess it collects after it's wandering and vagranting this river. All the water can be collected first around Philas. Okay, so it's comes out in marshes. I don't think that's the delta. It must be higher up or lower down, or whatever you call it. So these grasses are sparse around it, so that's where you get reeds and papyrus, I suppose, as well. Anyway, all this water collects around here at Philas. The island est Philae, the island of Philae, it's asperous, harsh, and everywhere on all sides it's craggy or got rocks, Proropta. The two rivers, Quaestiones, they come together into one. Oh, bloody hell. What's his bus about? Okay. The two rivers come together into one, and they can get to this island. They surround this island. From here, it looks like it bears the name of the Nile. It's Nile. The two rivers changed to the name of Nile at this point. So I guess these are up here are the fonds or the springs from where they come from. And they complete the whole city, which is on this island. They embrace it or surround it. Abhack from this, both city and insula are female, so from another city. The Nile, it's great, more than violent. It aggresses from here. Accusative here. Ethiopian sands, through which makes a journey or a route for the commerce of the Indian Ocean, or the Indian Sea, whatever we call it these days. It prey to libitors through these sands. and it joins up with this sea. The cataracts receive Eon Nilus. Cataracts receive this river. It is a place very noble and significant to look at. Spectacular. 2.5. There through arduous, which means difficult or steep, and excisus, which means they cut out or sharp roots, which are rocks, in many places. The Nile insurges. So the Nile insurges for all these sharp and arduous rocks, and it concites or excites all its strength here. It gathers strength. Frangatur annum, for it is broken by the rocks it occurs, it meets, and through the narrow strait it wrestles its way, and wherever it goes, it will become it either conquers or is conquered. It fluctuates, and Iluk, there in that place, for the first time, the waters really get excited, which without any tumult, it had been leading its gentle alveo, that's the channel, violent and torrential through malignos transitus, so it's like passageways that are a bit dangerous maybe or malignant. It prosilites, dissimilar to itself or its previous self, since up to this point it was lutosis, which is mucky, and it was turbidus, it fluided, it flowed. But when scopuluses, these usually rocks, maybe underwater rocks, same word they use for reefs, but when rocks and the sharpness of cordiums, another word for rocks, sometimes it's used for crags, so when it meets these types of rocks and sharp rocks, it verboravits, it hits them, it foams, it spumats, and Ili, not from its nature, is this colour to it, but from this injuries the water gets from this place. So the water hits all these things, even though it was muddy before. Now the water's become injured, and it's changed colour, and at last it wrestles again. It like TARDISes, wrestles all these obstacles, and suddenly it cates, destitute of some place to go, into a vast altitude, probably a waterfall, falls a vast altitude, with a ingentai strepitude, with a huge den of the circumyacanting regions, or the regions that lay about it. I guess they get to hear the noise of the waterfall. Okay, I've set up the 2 daily dictionary words. Scopulus is a rock or boulder. Quartz are reefs, rocks, cliffs, crags, rough pointed detached rock, loose stone. So they're both rocks. Which to bear the Gens, the race there, which have been collocated, placed there by the Persians. So the race that lived there, placed by the Persians, were not able to bear this with this assiduous or constant fragor. It looks like it's obtuse, it's blunt in their ears, or it's deaf in them. And because of this, they've translated from these houses to a quieter place, ad quietur. 2.6. Amongst these miracles of the river, incredible boldness of the inhabitants are kept I've received or heard. Binai too condescend, they board a parvula naviga, small boat, of which one regates or controls the navam, and the other draws out water. Is it water from a waterfall, or is the boat's got a hole in it? Whatever. Dainde. Then, amongst the insane rapids, very much of the Nile, and the reciprocating fluctuations of the water, at last they reach very thin canals. Okay, so this volutata, that's just voluble, and again with these waves fluctuating. They fugiate through certain rupiums, crags again, so that in a very narrow way so they follow these canals along, and they come out through cracks in the rocks again, and they are fused, or they blast out with the whole river forcing them or something. Ruins means they're falling or rushing along. They temper or control the boat by hand, and with great fear of this spectacle of what's going on, they sent out head first or something, and when you would now deplore the people, or you're sad for the people who were submerged or mersos, and you would think by such a mass of water they've been obrutus, overcome, and it's far from this, in which they have fallen. Blah blah blah. What have we got here? In the way of a torment engine, like you attack buildings and stuff with. They are sent. They navigate. They're in a boat still. They're sent out from this place, like blasted out of a torment engine or something. And neither there's this falling water submerge them, but it hands them into plain water or clear water. So they're blasted out from this place from which they fell, and you'd think they were all dead. And there's the creditors, meaning you think they'd be dead or something, but looks like they come out very calmly.